Okay, everybody, let's do some yoga. Let's get some arm swings going. Just find your way into a nice, comfortable, but stable stance. You can have your feet as wide as you wish. Last few swings. Okay. Let's take it into some twisting. Nice, comfortable, maybe even slightly rhythmic twist back and forth. You can pivot from your hip, you can turn a little at your ankle, you can spiral through your whole spine. A few more twists. Okay. Let's release that. Let's take the feet a little wider than they've been so far. And just start to do little forward bends and little neutral stances. So just a slight flex in your game, up to neutral, maybe letting the arms expand out like a T. Or letting your arms expand out more like a Y. Or even letting your arms reach pretty much straight up, like columns. You're leaning into hip hinging and a little flexion. You don't really even have to purposely bring on the flexion, mainly hinge and allow for a little flex. Last couple. As you're coming up, you might have a little internal coaching cue where it feels like you're drawing the feet together. Oh, the legs really work in a nice, interesting way. Last one. Oh man, let's turn this away and push and pull. So here you're just dialing in your inner Tai Chi self. You can make little modifications, to maybe how your wrists move through those transitions. You can make it a little stronger and lean back, almost essentially one-footed. You can lean into the lean forward part a little more, essentially one-footed. You can really focus on the transfer. 98% front foot, 50-50. 90% back foot. You can focus on the pushing and the pulling with your arms. Pull. Like a row exercise. Back squeeze. Chest open. You can focus on the push like a plank. Shoulder blades spread. Chest draws in a little. Look out. Last one. That was an old truck, not a gunshot. Alright. Spin around the other way. Note which foot is forward. It should be obvious that when you spin around, it'll be the new foot, but just making sure. And just get this push-pull exercise going. And again, there's a lot of little things you could dial into, but one thing is just kind of find your inner Tai Chi. And it's really, slow moving yoga. It's pretty much the same thing. Keep it fluid. And take the focus where you like. Maybe a little more emphasis on the low body and how the weight shifts from front to back. Maybe a little more emphasis on the upper body and how you're pushing and pulling. And we didn't explicitly do it on side one, but in these last few, you can even tie in breathing. Push during exhalation. Pull during inhalation. Last two. Push. Pull. Last one. Nice. Let's come back to center. All right. Let's take the palms and the elbows together. So you're spreading your shoulder blades a little bit to do that, just by the nature of their shape. Then, whilst maintaining connection between your elbows and most of your forearms, let the wrists come apart. Sorry, let me be even more specific. Let the hands come apart at the wrist. Any amount. Ooh. And then come back. Let's try that one about, 8 to 12 times. So peel the hands from neutral to as open as they'll go. Mine are short of 90 degrees, but working on it. Forearms stay squeezed together. Oh my God, last four. Last three. Last two. Oh man, last one. And then let's go back to like the swing for another 30 seconds. Okay. Next. Hinge forward at your hips, por favor. Lean into pushing the knees slightly out. So if you had a TheraBand wrapped around your knees, it would stay tight. Not radically bow-legged, still a nice clean shape here, posture-wise, but a little bit outward cue. Take the hands onto your tailbone, sacrum, back of the waist. Woo. So at this point, your shoulders have a slight inward rotation. Your palms are facing the sky. The back of your hands are flush to your low backside. You're contending with a medium-sized squat in terms of depth and working with the shoulder movement. Then we're going to fan the arms out. And then we're going to turn the thumbs up. And then we're going to point the thumbs back. Neutralize the hands. Sweep backward. Palms up to the sky. Let's just try that a couple more times. It's a lot of work. Sweep out. Externally rotate. Sweep back in. Internally rotating. 2 more. Out like a T. Into mass external rotation. And then back onto your tail. Internal rotation. Last one. Okay. And then from there, everybody, let's come up. Oh my gosh, that one cooks. Let's move into a little leg warm-up. So we're going to line up the feet approximately on one end of your mat. Bend into like a little 3/4 squat and shift off one foot and come up. So we'll do that maybe 5 to 10 times per leg. 10's a little adventurous. So you can switch every time. So it's a little 3/4 squat. One leg. 3/4 squat, level out the feet. Might involve a little tiny step. One leg. Let's try 3 or 4 more. Last couple. All right. Next. Similar process. You go into a little 2/3 squat, 3/4 squat, half squat, wherever you like to go depth-wise. You transition into one-leggedness, but instead of just taking the leg into flexion, you take the leg into flexion plus external rotation. Like the eye of the needle pose or like a half lotus pose. Yeah? Please practice. Transition up, and you can hold on to the foot, hold on to the knee. Back to 2-legged, nice and strong, nice and stable, until it's 1-legged, one's open, one's neutral. Basically up and back. Sweet. Awesome. Next, same kind of drill. You know, half a squat, 3/4 squat, 2/3 squat. On the transition, this one's, I'd say, you know, a little more challenging. On the transition to one-leggedness, you take the leg behind you, catch hold, and transition up like standing half virasana. Huh? So down you go. Transition. Ooh.
Let me know when I can walk by.
Oh, you're welcome to go by. It's fine. Say hi to everybody on YouTube. All right. Two-legged, one-legged, through the transition. That was a little shaky. Two-legged, one-legged, that was a little smoother. Through the transition. Up and back every time. Ooh, man. It's awesome. There we go. All right, everybody. So, that does that. Let's take the hands to the heart. And try the Ardha Surya Namaskar, half sun salutation. On in breath, reach out and up. On out breath, try your favorite version of bending forward. On in breath, reach out to the horizon line. On out breath, head back toward the earth. On in breath, kiss the sky. On out breath, reconnect to your own center. Inhale, skyward. Exhale, earthbound. Inhale, lengthen out to the horizon. Exhale, earthbound. Inhale, skyward. Exhale, heart center. Two more. Expansion, contraction. Half and half, full contraction, full expansion, reconnect, literally and figuratively, to your center. Last two. Up, down, forward, downward, upward, back to the heart. Last one, everybody. Tadasana. Urdhva Hastasana. Uttanasana. Paragustasana. Uttanasana. Urdhva Hastasana. Tadasana. Yeah? Let's get, basically kind of a slow incremental, but let's creep into the full version of the sun salutation. Not too quick and sweaty, but who knows what sweat factor there is, but we're going to move into it slowly. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Plank position. That's the new one. Give it a couple breaths. Come down and rest on the belly. squeeze your legs together. So you've got a very narrow seam. Take the hands back to the tail. We did this warm-up while standing. Tuck your chin. Now keeping the legs down, hips heavy, grounded, stable. Lift your chest and your head. Reach the arms out like the letter T. Get that external rotation dialed. It's even more challenging from here than standing. And then slowly sweep the arms back to the tail. And go ahead and let your head turn, come down. So just to make sure we're all plugged in here, connect the legs together. Tuck under the chin. Lift chest and head. And reach those arms from tail all the way out. Once they're out, really lean into external rotation. Come back to tail. Turn your head the new way. Oh. All right, let's shift all fours. Okay. So get a really stable table. Stable table. Okay. So one way, it's not cheating, maybe it's just your strategy. Your legs and your hips feel stronger than your arms. Your knees can handle this much better than maybe your wrists, although they should both, be okay with it and modify if need be. So maybe one strategy is just lean a little bit back into your hips. Ooh, it's kind of nice. Last couple of breaths here. Now 3 or 4 or 5 times. Let's go into the cat and the cow. So from this stable table, might even be a little bit tight, round your back, pull the undercarriage in and up so your table isn't flat, but from a profile view it looks more like a rainbow. Keep squeezing your glutes, or really lean into that part. Find a nice sweet apex in the stretch. And then come back to the stable table. And then transition such that you relax the glutes. That changes it a lot. Let your feet kick out a tiny bit wider. That's like a little bonus transition. Let the belly soften. Oh my God. And let that tail just kind of lift. She might even wag a little bit. Now this one's more like a hammock. Just like a nice, relaxed, it's still strong enough to hold people, but it's got that little sway, right? The opposite of the cat. It's the cow. And then please go back and forth 3 or 4 more times. And then on this last cat, add the fold, hinge, child's pose. Oh. Now, from here, everybody, before we come up into full dog pose, let's just do a little bit more shoulder warm up. I know we've done a lot. Keep the arms in flexion here up along your ears and see if you can lift one arm. and release. Switch. You can lift as high as you can lift. Hold for a beat or two. Okay. And then everybody, let's shimmy up into a downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Let's reach up the right leg. Get it about level to your tail. Bend the right knee. Keep your leg bent through the transition. And take one big adventurous step. Scoot if need be. Then with that back leg, take one big adventurous step till the feet have caught up with each other. On inhale, seek out the horizon. On exhale, find your end range of motion downward. On inhale, the triumphant reach back up to the sky. And on exhale, reconnect to your center, to your breathing. And let's reach up again. Let's fold down again. Let's reach halfway up again. And we'll fold. Find your way into all fours. Get that really stable table. Keep it like steadfastly stable. And see if you can reach one arm forward without shifting your table around. Switch. Couple times side to side. And always feel free to vacillate between a palm on the ground, the fingertips on the ground, fist on the ground. Even hand turned at a slightly different angle. Oh man, that is good news. Then please everybody come back down onto your belly. Take the arms down along your side. Take the feet about as wide as your hips. Squeeze the hips into the ground. Lift the chest and the head. Roll the shoulders back away from your ears and like toward the sky, and really rocket ship those arms. Reach them back and up, and then release. 3 more times. So you've got neutral width legs, letter I shaped arms, just like tucked in along the side of your spine, no wider than your mat. Really work it. Oh. 2 more. Last one. Oh man. Okay, shift into downward dog. So on this transition, everybody give it a couple big breaths, and then we'll be floating up the left leg. So get that left leg lifted. Bend at the knee. Take a big, huge step. Step that back foot forward. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, reach down. Inhale. Rise up. Exhale. Hands back to the heart. Let's forge on. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lower. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, lower. All fours. Get a really stable table again. And see if this is so hard to do without shifting, but that's part of the work. See, oh my goodness. See if you can get a leg to go back. Oh, man. And release. Other side. Couple times side to side. Minimize how much your knee on the ground, hip, pushes out. Oh. That's insane when it's done like really on point. Oh my God, last one. Dog pose. Oh, sorry, no, I owe you extension first. Sorry. Come onto your belly. Now we've got the wide legs. So we did narrow with one arm shape, we did neutral with one arm shape, now we're going to wide with one more arm shape. Superhero arms. Relatively wide legs, wider than your hips, maybe at least as wide as your mat. Fix your hips to the mat. Lift your chest and your head. Lift one arm, like kind of handshaker style, and then lift the opposite leg. Oh my God, that feels good. And then release and switch. Chest up, head up, new arm up, opposite leg. And you've got two limbs on the ground that you can lean into if need be, but really you're trying to generate the force with the two limbs that are lifting rather than trying to push too much with the other limbs. But really any way works. Release. One more per side, two total. You lift at a diagonal, a right and a left. You lift at a diagonal. One more per side, a bonus. Oh my God. It covers such a wide swath of the back body. All right, everybody, we're transitioning to all fours. Downward doggy. Now, we haven't done a hop, but that's certainly available to you. We did a mindful right-footed step and a left-footed step, which you can return to, obviously, or on this transition, you can do the hop. And then inhale, reach out to the horizon. Exhale, flex down to the ground. Inhale, reach up to the sky. Exhale, hands to the heart. Reach up. Reach down. Extend out. Come back down. Plank pose, top of push-up. 5 high quality push-ups. Take breaks if need be. Use your knees if you must. Like if you can't get one good one in, definitely use your knees. If 3's like your limit, maybe just try to get 4 with a little break in. Come down and rest on the belly when you're done. Take the feet hip width distance apart. Keep the hands essentially right where they wound up when you came down. Lift chest and head. And lift your hands. Put your hands back down. Lift chest and head a little more. Come slowly down. Shift to all fours. Shift to downward facing dog. And any other transitions you like. Step or jump. Lengthen, out, flex, down, extend, up, reconnect. One more. Reach, flex, horizon, downward. Plank pose. Come halfway down chaturanga. Roll up into a back bend. You're suspended on your hands and your feet. Kind of snuck in this big full back bend, but obviously we've been laying the groundwork. And then roll over your feet, dog pose. Now purposely, everybody, reach the right leg back, bend your right knee, step your right foot forward. Stay off your back heel, so you're just on the pad of your foot. Come up and reach your arms back like that letter I shape. Inside the boundaries of your mat. Then reach your arms out like the letter T shape and lean into external rotation. Then reach your right arm back like an I, left arm forward like the superhero shape. One more big breath here. And then both hands down, plank, chaturanga, urdhva mukha, adho mukha. Step left foot forward, one big lungy step, or literally you've put yourself into a lunge, or as close as possible. And basically all those warm-up moves now in a big full lunge. I shape. Arms in extension, downward, backward, upward. Down along your side, backward a little bit, but then depending on how flexible you are, they might start rising up a little bit. And then outward, like a T, like a cross. Squeeze those shoulder blades. One down, the left one, right arm forward. So now they're both in the boundaries of your mat, but you got a down reacher and an up reacher. Oh my God, that feels good. And then from here, everybody, both hands down, plank, chaturanga, upward dog. Downward dog. And from here, everybody, walk your hands towards your feet. And walk your hands up. Oh, man. The light is beautiful right now. All right. So, last little bit of standing work. I know we've been standing most of the time. We're almost done. Come into this shape. It's very much like one of our warm-up movements where we walked across the mat back and forth, but now hold it. And then advance the pose by hip hinging. See if you can do 4 or 5 of those on one side before you switch. You could play with hip hinging beyond parallel to the ground, but that's a good place to stop if you're not sure. You can also simply look for, feel for feedback in your hamstrings, and that'll tell you when to stop. It might feel like your balance is a little questionable, and that's going to make you bail out or affect the pose in some way. Last one. Oh man, that feels so good. And then release. So if it's not clear, the idea is you're getting kind of end range of motion on the back of the standing leg, getting some stretch on the front of the lifted leg, obviously working on balance, hip hinge, neutral back. Oh man. Two more. Uno más. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. Oh my God, that's such a good one. All right, everybody, we're transitioning down into the full version of Malasana. You squat to the point where you really can't squats no more, right? You're just down at the bottom and you just kind of hang out there. 10 breaths.
So she done moved into the part where they go and do the training for the people that's training for to do the job, and that's like the spot.
Last few breaths here. Okay. I'm gonna sit and spin. I didn't mean it that way. But we are gonna spin around. So just come to lie on your back, everybody. Maybe I've been talking too much. All right. Make sure I give you guys silence. I do always try to intersperse quiet time as well in our practice. But anyway, so hopefully you can still see that you've made your way to your back. Now, please take both legs up in the air. Now you've got options. If you have a wall really close by, you could take the legs up a wall. That's a great option. If you don't have a wall nearby,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
that's all right. If you don't have an option, a wall as an option, and this feels palatable, just leave the legs like this. Maybe you want to hold them so they kind of have something to lean into. We'll just leave them up. About 10 big breaths here. The bonus version for the last minute, and we're going to transition into Shavasana. Keep the legs up, on or not on a wall, but add a little inward rotation. So it looks like the feet probably form more of an A frame than a V frame, but you really want that spin not to just be an ankle angle, but a rotation in your hips. So you might get these femur bones to turn. You could even do it hands-on like that. Once it feels like those guys are turning, then no hands-on, because we were going to do something with the hands, something else. We're going to reach them up and turn out with the thumbs, external rotation in the shoulders, and then go full flexion along the ears. And see if you can just breathe deeply 10 breaths. So you've got inward rotation dialed in your legs. And they're extended up. You've got external rotation dialed in your shoulders. And they're flexed over. Oh. This is, I mean, I don't like to speak in hyperbole, so I'll tone it down. But sometimes this feels like, for me, and I know for some others, like you've unlocked a little key in your back. It just feels amazing. Now, let's let it all go. We'll open the legs out against the ground so there's a massive surface area of support. So in case you're at the wall, go ahead and shimmy away from the wall. Oh goodness, yeah. So as you find your way into this shape, let's just briefly reconnect to breathing sensations. It has heretofore not really been our central focus. We've weaved it in and out of our movements, but as a standalone practice, spend those last few moments pre-corpse, corpse adjacent, connecting to breathing sensations. It's in the cards to facilitate it. These breaths are moving through your nose. The way that you could characterize the inhalations is as moving deeply into your body. And further, the exhalations, taking a little while. and out slowly. So in a sense, just set your nervous system on tranquilo. I think it's a setting. Part of that setting is that inhales stay deep and exhales stay slow. Another part of that setting is that you don't have to fuss over it. Or try to consciously oversee it. Just let go. Just begin to reconnect to breathing sensations. Calm and deep. Slow and easeful. Reconnect to that sea air. Feel it on your skin. Whatever air happens to be there in your room. Maybe you can even pick up on the smell of the ocean water. That might come on the next Apple upgrade. Oh goodness, so nice. Totally wide open sky. Just make your transition as you're ready, everybody, coming up to a sea. Oh man. Wow. Well, so happy you could come with me on a little yoga journey at sunset, the Long Beach Marina here. It really is a beautiful spot to set up and film. So I hope it all works out for you as you participate. And thank you for connecting on the interwebs. Namaste.